So today we're going to be going over the Grandstream 2130 phone. Now this is one of the most popular models that we work with. We're going to be going over the buttons and the features so that you best know how to use this phone. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the front of the phone here. In the upper middle we have the screen. On the left side we have the handset. Also in the lower left side we have the number pad. And on the right and around the screen we have some other buttons that I think we should probably go over. Now we're going to start in the very upper right of the phone. Right up here to the right of the screen, there's a button that looks like an envelope. If you push that, that is your personal voicemail button. What it will do once you push that is ask for your password. Your password by default when you first start is the same as your extension number. So this phone is extension 203. When I push that button, it's going to ask me password and I would enter 203. The first time you enter the mailbox, it's going to ask you to go through the entire setup process. That includes recording your unavailable message, your busy message, and your greeting. Part of that process is to change the password, and make sure to change it to anything but the default password. If you leave it as default, it's going to constantly ask you to re-record everything, so just make it anything but the default. Now if we go down to the next button, it looks like an open book. That's your directory button. I went ahead and pushed that there. Now I don't have any contacts in there now. You can manually add them here using the buttons along the bottom and typing with the keypad, but we do have a method ourselves as to mass uploading these for you. So if you have a big long list and you want it to be automatically entered into the phone, just contact Lightspeed Voice and we will help you with that. Now if we move on down one more below that, there's a button that looks like a pause button. That's actually your hold button, the two bars right there. So if we were on a call already, let's go ahead and get on a call now. So go ahead and pick this up. And now that we're on a call, if I go ahead and just push the pause button or the hold button there, in the upper left you'll see this light start flashing. When you put somebody on hold, they go into the first available hold spot on your phone. And you see you have 3 available here. So you can put somebody on hold and have up to 2 on hold at a time. One of them always needs to be active though, so you can't put 3 calls on hold. You can have 1 active call, one that you're currently on with, and then 2 hold. If you want to pick this call back up, you can go ahead and just either hit that, selecting which call you want to answer, or you could have just pressed, since there was only 1 on hold, the hold button again. So let's go ahead and hang this call up. Now we're going to move on to the buttons along the bottom of the screen. Now these buttons are constantly changing. They never stay as what they are on the home screen. They change based on what you're doing. If you're receiving a call, if you have an incoming call, one of them will say reject. If you're on a call, it'll say end call. So they'll constantly be changing in that way, but they do always say along the bottom what they do. So you just have to read what they say. While you're on the home screen, they'll say history, Gen VM, redial, and features. Again, you just have to read what they say, and if that's the particular feature that you're looking for, then just go ahead and utilize that. Gen VM will go to your general voicemail box where you need to enter the mailbox and the password. Redial or redial the last number you called. Features, if you click on that here, will show you what's available for you to do with your phone currently. Now, the quickest 2 features it shows is putting the phone in Do Not Disturb or removing it from Do Not Disturb. Now, if you go back, you see this button here on the left with the little box that goes back. We can go back to whatever the previous screen was. Now, if you push this button here that says History, you'll see that it says All by default, and you can use the arrows to scroll left and right and narrow down the categories of the calls you're looking at. This would be calls that were answered on this phone, this would be calls that were dialed, and etc. Now if we go ahead and go back, we've covered the top half of the phone there. Let's go ahead and move on down to the middle part. Starting on the left side, you're going to see this minus and plus. What that is volume control. Now that controls the volume of in-call and the ringer. If the phone is currently ringing, as you can hear, you can use that to lower the volume and raise the volume. If we answer that call while we're on it, we can lower the volume of the call and turn the volume up of the call. Now if the phone is just hung up and it's just sitting here idle, that still also controls the ringer volume, and you'll be able to hear how loud it is as it'll respond each time you press it. Now if we look at the 2 buttons right below there, we have a speakerphone and a green phone symbol. Now the speakerphone works just like a speakerphone does on any other phone. We can push that and we hear a dial tone, and we can just dial a number as we normally would, and the call will go out as speakerphone call. If you push it again before you've made a call, you'll hang up. Now, if you're on a call currently, let's go ahead and pick up a call here. You can switch over to speakerphone just by pressing the speakerphone, and we would be able to hear our party through the speaker. Now, if you press that again, the phone will go back to the handset. Now, the green button down here, just under the plus, it works the same as the history button. If you push that, you're going to go right to the history as you would up there. These buttons just happen to have the same function. Sometimes you'll push the green button to send a call, but generally you have multiple ways to do the same thing on these phones. So if we are dialing a number and we want to send call, say we're doing on-hook dialing, there will be a button along the bottom that will say send, or you could push that green button. They both do the same thing. Now, moving over to the right of that, we have some arrows in the middle here with a center button or a circle in the middle. This is for navigating the menu. So if you push that center button, it takes you to where we can change settings and all sorts of different little features. And you use the arrows to navigate that menu. Now, if you want to go back out of this and go to the home screen, you see a little button there with the home on the bottom. It will usually be the bottom left button when these buttons change. To the right of that, with these 4 buttons here, let's start in the upper left. The first one that looks like a phone pointing to another phone, that is your transfer button. Now, there's 2 different ways to transfer. You have a cold transfer and a warm transfer. Now, to do a cold transfer, all you have to do while you're currently on a call is transfer, dial the extension or the phone number you want to transfer to, and then transfer again. You don't need to put anybody on hold or anything like that. So you're currently on a call, transfer, 121, transfer again. That's it. That call will send out and it'll ring their phone and they'll be able to pick that call up that you were just currently on. So now a warm transfer. Now, to do a warm transfer is very similar with one extra step. You're going to dial that phone to phone transfer button again while you're already on a call. You're going to dial the extension you want to transfer to, let's say 101, then with a pound at the end. Now, what that pound does is it calls that extension. You're now calling 101. They'll pick up. You'll say, hey, I've got so-and-so on the phone for you. Would you like to take the call? When they say, yep, I can take that, push the transfer button again. It puts those 2 parties together. They don't have to ring. They're just going to be put together. So you would just let them know that they're going to be talking to this person pretty much immediately. Now, if we take a look to just to the right of the transfer button, we have this 3-head looking button. That's your conference button. So the way this works is very similar to transfer. If you've got that down, you'll be able to get this. If you're on a call already and you want to bring somebody else in, whether it be another extension or an outside phone number, so we're already on a call, you push conference, let's say it's 101, dial 101, and then conference again. You're all brought together. All 3 of you are now on that call. Now, if you want to talk to the party you're bringing in first, again, very similar to a warm transfer, you're going to do a warm conference. You're going to be on a call already, dial conference, 101, pound, just the same as the warm transfer. You'll then be calling to 101. They'll pick up. You can say, hey, I got somebody on the phone. I want to bring them in and do a conference call with them real quick. They say, okay. All you do is push conference again. All 3 of you are together. Now, let's say you're conferencing in something outside of Lightspeed Voice, like a claim center or something that you'd want to do a conference call with a customer so that you can all join together and you can explain while you're calling. You would do the same method, conference, dial that phone number, and conference again if you just want to bring them in immediately. And then you can hang that call up and they will stay together. You do not need to stay on the phone. So once you've connected them with the party that you wanted to get them all connected with, and you're confident that you can leave this call now, you can go ahead and hang up and that call will stay on. So just below the transfer button there, we have a microphone with a slash going through it. That's your mute button. Now, if you're on a call and you press that, the person on the other side of the call won't be able to hear you, but you'll be able to hear them. If your phone is hung up like it is now, that will put your phone in Do Not Disturb. I'll go ahead and press that. Do Not Disturb activated. And if you press it again, Do Not Disturb deactivated. If you're ever having an issue where your phone's not ringing and you're not sure why, even though it appears everything should be working, try hitting that button there and see if it deactivates. It's very possible that somebody might have pushed that, trying to silence your phone while you weren't there, Could have been ringing off the hook, but that's a good first place to start. Now to the right of that, you'll see a headset button. That's for if you decide to get an external headset to go with your phone, be it Bluetooth or anything else. This is just for turning it on and off. Now moving from the right side of the phone to the bottom left here, nothing to really explain. It's just a number pad. There's no special features hidden within there, so you'll just use it like you do on any other phone. We're going to move to the bottom right side of the phone, the last thing we need to go over, which is the BLF buttons. Now you're going to notice on these buttons here on the right side, the BLF buttons, that you'll see some different colors at different times. The very upper left one you'll see here is dark. There is a reason for that. You have green and sometimes they'll be red. Let me explain this first one here in the upper left. That's your park button. What park is it's kind of like a waiting room in a way. You can take the call that you're currently on and put it off to the side where they'll hear hold music, and then anybody in the office can pick that call up, including yourself. So somebody else can come out and take that call. When you push park on that call that you're on, they go into the first available parking space. Now these two buttons here, the first two that are below the dark button, are your first two parking spaces. This is 9001 and 9002. Now, when you put a call on park, it'll go to the first available. So this one's green, that's where it would go. And this will turn red when that call is parked. This turns red on every single phone in that office. So everybody is aware that there's a call on park. Now, how you choose to utilize that is totally up to you. You could send a message to somebody or to everybody and say, I have a call in the first park spot and I need somebody to take that call. Or one of the other methods for utilizing this is as an indirect way of transferring. You can park a call and specifically tell somebody else to pick that call up. I know we do it all the time. It's very convenient for the person answering that phone to not transfer a call directly to them. It gives them a little extra time to prepare. Say they're expecting this call, but they weren't exactly ready for it this second. If you put it on park and let them know that that caller is there and available, they can grab it in a minute or 2 minutes, if they really want to push it. But they have an opportunity to answer that call when they're ready, and they're not getting transferred a call that they then have to pick up that second and maybe fumble around a bit. So use park any way you choose. There's lots of different ways to use it, but those are the two main methods as a way to get calls to other people in the office. So again, the first button, the dark one, is to park people. Once they're parked, you don't push that again to answer. That's only to park people. The next two are your parking spots, 9001 and 9002. Then, below that, is where your extensions start. So the very bottom left button, if we're going in numerical order, will go from here and then do, as far as quick dials to other extensions. So let's say that this phone is 101 and this office goes up to 105. This first button here is not going to be 101. It's going to be 102. It skips its own extension. If this phone was 102 itself, then this would be 101, then 103, then 104, 105, and so on. It skips its own. So it goes in numerical order, excluding its own extension number, starting in the bottom left and going from the upper right down. And that's it. That's the basis of the Grandstream 2130. Now, if you have any more questions at all or think you need any more training on this phone, please call us here at Lightspeed Voice. This is exactly what we're here for. So call us as soon as you have a question. We'd love to help. And again, thank you for choosing Lightspeed Voice.